Look at this thing. This thing is a beast of an e-bike, and I'm really excited to review it today. This is the Legion E-Scrambler E-bike. It's just a monster e-bike, and I've got to ride it for a little bit. So in this video, I wanted to share my thoughts with my experience about its features, about how it rides, how it handles, and how it compares to its competitors. So we're gonna do a little deep dive today. Let's do it. I'm not even sure where to begin, but this is like a moped style retro e-bike that is great for off-roading and is also street legal. So you can use this as a commuter, take it on the roads with you. You're going to be perfectly fine to do that. It has a lot of great features to accommodate riding it out in public, but then it's also geared for taking it off-road. You can hit the trails, go on grass or unsmooth terrain, and you're still gonna have a blast with it. So it's a great two-punch combo of an e-bike. So I feel like it is perfect for someone who lives in an environment like me where I take it on the roads and I also have some trails at my house here. So I'm pumped about this because it fits my lifestyle. So that's kind of a little bit about who this e-bike might be best suited for. One of the main reasons why I think this is great for off-roading is because of the smooth suspension. It has two suspension springs right here in the rear of the e-bike that aren't gimmicky and aren't clunky or bouncy, but they actually serve a purpose and help to dampen down the bumps and allow you to hit some jumps or little things like that and not completely wreck your e-bike or wreck your spine because it's super stiff. You can see that the frame even accommodates and allows some give to the e-bike so that if you are going over top of bumps, it's going to smooth out that experience for you. Not only does it have suspension in the rear of the e-bike, but it also has two massive suspension forks in the front of the e-bike. These things are almost on par with like a dirt bike for how large they are. I don't have any other suspension forks like this on any of my other e-bikes, so this is like a step above. You can see that they have like how intense you want the compression to be, whether you want to lock it out and have it stiff, or if you want to have a lot of give to it, you can control that with this little knob up here. So not only does it have rear suspension, it has front suspension, but it also has a nice comfortable seat that is squishy and nice to ride on. And it also has nice comfortable tires to absorb a lot of the shock as well. These are 20-inch by 4.5-inch tires. These are beefy, they make the bike look bigger, and it's great for taking this on trails. The tread on these tires aren't that thick, but since the tire is a little bit wider, it still gives you good traction when you're on slippery surfaces. Now those are some of the features that makes this great for off-roading, but let's talk about some of the things that make it a great street bike as well. One of the first things that caught my eye with this is actually the light setup. You can see that it has a massive retro looking headlight on this thing that has brights and dims on it, or whatever you call it. That way you can ride this at night and be respectful for oncoming traffic. Another great thing about this is it has blinkers in the front and the rear of the e-bike. I typically don't see this on any of my other e-bikes. Usually some of them just have them in the rear, but it's really nice that it also has blinkers in the front. And these blinkers in the front, the way they light up, it reminds me of like an Audi or a BMW, like a luxury product, because they like you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you just see the video and see what I mean. This also has brake lights that shine brighter so that it signals to people that you are actually stopping. This keeps you a lot safer as well. And it even has hazards on this that you can click, and now it's going to turn on my blinkers up here and my blinkers back here, just like typical hazard. Now let's take a look at the display and the handlebar setup up here. The grips on this thing are very nice and comfortable. It feels very smooth to ride it. It also has hydraulic brakes up front, and these are 4-piston brakes, so it stops the e-bike in an ample amount of time. You feel very safe with it, and these are very easy to squeeze and actually operate. So I love the braking setup. It's very safe in my opinion, so good job there. And then it also has a micro shifter on it. I haven't seen this before. On all the e-bikes I have, this is the first one I've seen that looks like this, and it operates very smooth. Typically, I found myself riding this with the throttle a lot because I was like having fun and ripping around on it. But when I started to pedal and actually use the gears with this thing, I found it to be very nice. When I'm pedaling very slow in like gear 1, it works great, and I can go up hills very easily, no problems there. The motor kicks in and helps me do that. And then when I was going at top speeds and I shifted to gear 7, there was still a lot of resistance in the pedals, which made it feel very comfortable. So the gears on this thing, if you want to actually pedal this, work great. They feel very smooth and high quality as well. You can also see that it has a thumb throttle here, which works good. And the nice thing about this is that no matter whatever pedal assist level you're in, the throttle will bring you all the way up to max speed. That's nice in case you're like stopped at a stop sign and want to full throttle it. You can do it without having to be in pedal assist level 5. Speaking of the pedal assist level, you can control it with this control panel on the left hand side. It has a plus button to go higher and a minus button to go lower, and then it has a mode button which is going to toggle and show you different metrics on the screen here, like your odometer or your trip. It will also show you your miles per hour and your battery life, and it will actually tell you the percentage of battery life you have. The display screen looks really nice. It's very easy to see, especially in the bright sunlight. You can see it without a problem. Also on this left hand side is where you're going to access your hazards, your dims or your brights here, your blinkers right here with this switch, and then it also has a horn. A very loud horn. So all those features makes this a great e-bike for riding it out in public. You can even set a password on your screen here so that if you're out at a coffee shop and you have your e-bike outside, you can turn on a password so not anybody can just go up and turn on your e-bike and start riding it around. They will have to have your password to be able to do that. So that's even a nice addition there that you can toggle it on or off in the settings. Are you impressed yet? Because I am. This is jam-packed with a lot of cool stuff. Now let's get into the riding experience and what I think about how it actually functions and operates. So this e-bike comes shipped to you as like a class 2 e-bike, which means it has a top speed of 20 miles an hour with the throttle and with the pedal assist, but you can actually unlock faster speeds and bring this up to 28 miles an hour, which is a class 3 e-bike, so that you can pedal it faster. And you can also work the throttle at 28 miles an hour as well in their off-road mode, which just unlocks like its full capabilities. So you can contact support to be able to do that and unlock it, but it has that feature and that's pretty awesome. When you're riding this e-bike, I noticed that when you throttle, it has a very gradual initial start, so it doesn't have a lot of upfront torque that'll like jerk you, but it's very smooth progression that brings you up to that top speed. This is nice if you're a beginner and want to casually ride around. It's very easy to manage and operate, but there were some moments where like I turn and want to just gun it and give it a lot of power, but I wasn't able to do that. So that is something I noticed, that it has more gradual torque to it rather than a lot in the upfront of it. What I also noticed about this e-bike is it is pretty heavy of an e-bike. This is a massive beast, especially with these larger tires, this nice solid frames, the suspension. It just makes for a little bit heavier of an e-bike. So when it's not on and you're just maneuvering it around, it is a little bit heavier and you do notice it. Now when you're actually riding it though, I didn't notice that it was a struggle to maneuver and handle because it had the motor to help you. So I still felt like it was nimble and quick when you're actually riding it. It's just when it's powered off and you have to like move it in your garage, you're like, wow, this is a nice solid e-bike. This e-bike has a 750 watt rear motor, but it has a peak of 1200 watts. And I feel like I could definitely notice this when I was riding it around. I never had any problems going up hills. There was even this one time I stopped halfway up a hill and then tried to throttle again to see if it would work, and it still brought me up the rest of the way from a complete standstill. So that was kind of nice. I noticed that it did have a good power, especially when you're riding this off-roading. It's not like it's going to get stuck somewhere out in a field. You can just hit that throttle and gone. This e-bike also has pegs right here. Look at this, that fold down. That way you can like have somebody sitting on the back with you. So that's kind of cool. They could like sit here, hug you. You could be riding with your boo and she'd be like holding you. Yeah, so that's really cool that it has pegs, but the seat isn't that wide. So if you are two enormous people, then it might be harder, but if you're like an average size person, then it should be all right. But I think it's cool and nice that it actually gives you pegs, because a lot of e-bikes that have a larger seat don't include those and you need to purchase them separately. So it's nice that it just comes with them. I'm telling you, there's a lot to this e-bike. It's just a lot to it. This e-bike has a range of 45 to 75 miles on one charge, and I noticed myself when I personally was riding this around, I would use the throttle a lot, so I bet that would kill the battery a little bit faster. So for me particularly, I would probably be on that lower end of near the 45-mile range, but this depends on your weight, how you're riding it, what pedal assist level you're in, are you hitting a lot of hills, are you riding into the wind? All those types of things will dictate your range, but I didn't feel like it was bad by any means. I've been ripping on this for a while now and I haven't had any problems where it like drastically falls off and kills the battery. So has fenders on it, keeps you cleaner. I took this out in my trails today and they were a little bit muddy. You can see that the tires are dirty, but the fenders help keep the bike a lot cleaner, so that's cool. You can see that it has this hole right here in the e-bike, and maybe this could be used to attach on an extra battery. I'm not sure. Maybe a water bottle holder at least at the bare minimum, but it's nice that it has all this space. Maybe if you need to carry some stuff and haul some things, you can attach it here. The battery is right here and it fits on very snug. There's no wiggle in it, or there's no wiggle in any of the parts. It doesn't sound clunky. It sounds like a very solid bike, so it just feels a little bit more quality and premium. And you can see that it has these little, I don't know what they are, but they're to like grip it if you're like riding and hold your legs on it a little more. That's what that is for. Maybe if you're hitting a jump or something. 48 volt 20 amp hour, something like that. I don't know. I'll put the actual number on the screen somewhere. Overall, I've had a blast riding this e-bike. It's been super fun. I find myself riding out in my trails and riding it through the yard and in my field because it's super comfortable to like hit over little jumps and like lock up the brakes and slide it and then rip around out there. So I've had a lot of fun just riding it outside off-roading, but then I also love that I can take this into town, use the blinkers, use the password, use all the technology on this e-bike, and I feel very safe and comfortable doing that. So I feel like it's very versatile in both ways, and it's legal to ride it on the streets. I'm not going to get in trouble riding this, so it's been great riding it in both types of environments. So this is like an all-around great product for someone like me. And the one thing that I love about this is it's not a chintzy product. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like it's gonna break apart. None of the stuff on it feels gimmicky. This all feels very durable and quality. I don't feel like they're like, oh, let's just toss this on here because it's a cool little gimmicky feature. Like, no, I feel like everything when it comes to the suspension on it, front and back, the quality and like the build structure of it is just awesome. So overall, I don't have much complaints. I think the company did a great job building this. I'm excited to see what they make next, and if they don't make anything ever in the future again, I'm happy with this. It's a pretty sweet product. So those are my thoughts about this product. If you're interested in it, I'll put a link in the description below for you to check it out for yourself. It's been fun. It has been fun. If you guys have any other questions about this product, let me know in the comment section below and I'll try to do my best to answer them for you. Hope you guys have a great day and I'll catch you on another one.